that one. So do we just take that out?
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe, Anna, now that people have put in their response, you
Yeah,
can
that's
go
where
in
we
and
can
kind of
alter the
edit
questions. Yep.
and maybe just make it one question. That'll save a little time, and maybe then we can just narrow the answer down to just that one question.
Okay, how about so Anna says, it seems as though women's rights have diminished rather than improved in the last couple of decades. And then I kind of repeated that sentence. So what about if we have Anna say, it seems as though women's rights have diminished, and then Charlie we have heard of, and then so I'm then saying, yes, you're correct, women's rights have certainly diminished rather than improved. So rather than the two of us saying the exact same thing, her question and have, does that make sense?
Here's to make that really kind of short and sweet based on what you're talking about. I don't know if you want to tie into, one of the things that I could cut out is the whole thing about women supporting wearing the veil more than men, because that's not necessarily how men feel about it. So I could cut that out and just do a short summary sentence about men's opinions. And so I think the question for Charlie could be, what role does Sharia law play in women's rights in Pakistan? Just something simple like that, rather than having.
So if you're asking a question, what role, then that's, so I need to go back and change my answers?
Well, I think you can maybe use that just to narrow it down. Just looking at the number of lines, I think you're pretty close to 45 to 55 seconds.
Okay.
Here's a good. I don't know if we necessarily need the description about Sharia law. I think maybe you could start out that while Sharia law influences virtually all aspects of a Muslim's life, the portions of Sharia law that address women's rights are very, whatever, and then you can kind of go into, owning property and education and divorce and inheritance and things like that. And I think then you could narrow that down a little bit.
Okay.
My little snippet about women, when you say it is Islam's extremists that take the opposite view of Muhammad, that Muslim women are forced to cover and hide themselves in public, where women are pushed into a second-tier status and where stricter interpretations are enforced. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to throw in the little snippet about there's a large percentage of Muslim women who support these areas of Sharia law.
Right. I had looked at that, but it was a timing issue.
Yeah. Well, if I
For
take it
sure.
out of mine and give it to you, then
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, definitely plug away. That's going to be easier than me trying to interpret your suggestion because I'm still a little stuck on what you were talking about changing at the beginning of mine. Just because obviously I don't share your brain. So any editing you want to throw in there to help me better understand what you're talking about is completely fine with me.
let me just highlight. I'm just going to change the color here so it's different. And then I'll just do my color here. So I would maybe say, okay, so that's what I would cut out all the blue, add in the green line there, and then just go into the Sharia aspects for women.
Okay.
Because the part about Muhammad is kind of duplicating what Anna's introducing as far as the history.
Okay.
I mean, you can leave it in there for now. Just
I'm going to go ahead and leave that first sentence just because it ties in her question, right?
let me ask you a question. Yeah, but I think rather than leave that in there, do you, if we're taking the opinion that women's rights have diminished rather than improved, would you say that women's rights are worse now in Pakistan than 50 years ago?
I would.
So you think they had more rights 50 years ago?
I don't necessarily think they had more rights, but they had less imposed restriction. I don't think they were forced to live their religion in the way they are now.
Right. I mean, I think you can even look, you know, Benazir Bhutto. I mean, no way today is there a female leader in Pakistan.
Yeah, no way.
And that was, you know, in our lifetime.
Well, in my subject thing on Sharia law, they just had, well, in the last few years, they just appointed their first woman judge.
2013. Yeah.
I guess what I'm questioning.
But that would be part of Jana Lee's section if she chooses to address that. That would be like the current state.
I guess my question is, what question are you addressing? The diminishing of women's rights or the effect of Sharia law on women's rights. I think
You
we
know,
have to pick one
you're
of
right.
them.
We separate those two. So I'll just take that part right out.
Okay.
And like I said, in the interest of time, if we had to make more filler, we could have follow-up questions and.
Right.
So I'm guessing. So my other was closer. It was about a minute, and we've just cut mine in half. So I'm now only at 30 seconds. So do I need to add more?
I'm still working on cutting mine down.
Yeah, we.
I heard. I was listening on mute.
Yeah. The tact I would take, Anna, with yours is the role and view of women has changed or fluctuated over the centuries, beginning with Muhammad and his wives, and then going down to Benazir Bhutto. You know, how those roles and rights and trying to think of the word for living your religion, how that's fluctuated based on interpretations of the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad. So anyway, just kind of that, making it somewhat simplistic.
Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We
We can hear you, Janalee.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey.
You made it. I saw your emails. You
I
were
made
trying.
it. Yes.
All right, so what we're kind of talking about is I did a read through and we don't have your part in here, and without your part and Sarah only giving a one-line answer, it
Oh
was
boy.
6.5 minutes.
Okay, and it's supposed to be 6 tops?
Yep.
Okay. Well, mine isn't ready. The research that I've done has been pretty difficult to pin down what's going on now. I really need to put more time into it. So I'm going to be able to do that on Thursday. I'm sorry.
I think Whitney's maybe kind of overlaps yours a little bit. I actually think.
I think hers is talking about current. She doesn't address anything in the future except for the future in Pakistan looks like it's not going to change. I think that's the only part that she actually addressed the future, which is what she's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the direction that she's going for Janalee's answer.
Oh, you mean Whitney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I copied it over. Has it changed from this afternoon, or is it still Women's Future in Pakistan, the Legislative Assembly?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think that's more in line with your question.
Yeah, Whitney's is a current because, I mean, we're talking that was just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that earlier today.
Let me do this. Let me find my thing, because I think I gave her that information from my research. Let me find my topic presentation script.
I made my topic presentation script like all perfect and thought I had to hand it in. You don't have to hand that in. I wasted so much time. Ugh. Like reading it word for word to make sure it was perfect. Ugh. Yeah.
Her last sentence is
The only part about the future.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. It definitely is.
I think her last sentence is her. Well, is her last sentence her topic?
Supposed to be, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Janet Lee, I'm gonna plug something into yours and maybe just
I'd love to write it myself. I just need a little bit more time.
well, let me plug this in and then you can kind of put it in your own words or
Okay. What I have
Or
found,
delete it and change it completely if you want. Totally up to you.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
And then say, or you can delete it and completely do your own thing. It just might give you a place to kind of think about jumping off from.
So here's what I put in there, and like I said, just kind of play with it. So the question is, generally, what is currently being done to improve women's rights? So I just plugged in, Pakistan continues to be the center of a clash of cultures. On one side, 2013 marked the appointment of Pakistan's first female judge. The chief judge called it a historic oath-taking ceremony that shows that Pakistanis are an enlightened people. On the other side, legislation to ban child marriages and protect women from discrimination and violence was struck down as the Council of Islamic Ideology said it was anti-Islamic and blasphemous. Regardless of who prevails now, this type of struggle between the religious and the secular is fated to continue on and on, possibly for decades to come.
Yeah, and that is what I have found in my reading so far. I've had a very difficult time pinning down what is going on, and again, it's just this huge contrast of it's wonderful that they have a female judge, and wow, they have banned the rights of women again. It's just, and it's a constant, they're in such a huge struggle over it right now. It's like these women are suffering, millions of women are suffering, and nothing is being done about it. I mean, they're trying, but they're just spinning their wheels. Am I wrong, or?
It is so ingrained in the culture and the religion that it really does take, so much of a majority of their parliament, to pass a law. But then I think the majority of the parliament is more secular and more willing to do things like that. But that Council of Islamic Ideology set up by Zia has so much power that they can veto anything regardless of the the majority that passes it in their parliament and stuff. So it is a huge struggle there to overcome that religious zeal that
it just goes back to the roots of Muhammad Ali Jinnah when he put religion above everything. It has caused continual havoc in Pakistan.
I think that sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit. I think that this is a good start with Jana Lee's. And I wonder if with Whitney's, it's worth suggesting that there's some sort of commentary with the future in Pakistan. I guess when I think future, I'm thinking, 10, 20, 30 years from now type future. And I think this education issue in Pakistan, I know I read one of the topic presentations today that talks about Pakistan is the second highest in the world for basically their lack of education, that really by 5th grade, kids are dropping out. And that's even if the girls get to go to school. And surely there's going to be fallout from that in the next generation on, as far as illiteracy and that sort of thing. And so I think that it might be worth trying to throw something like that in there for Whitney's question.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
You know, I had another good idea too. I'm just full of them tonight. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one paragraph for my section that you came up with is beautiful.
I watched. You guys should, if you have time, maybe you can count it towards your digging deeper or whatever. Pull up Malala's Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech. It's really cool how she talks about, you know, fighting for women's rights to go to school, and they brought in like some girls from North Africa and some other, you know, countries where, you know, they're trying to ban female mutilation and other things. I think Whitney, if she looked at that and did, you know, a 4 or 5 line summary, finishing up with, is Malala the future of women's rights in Pakistan? Will her generation be able to break through the barriers? Will her generation be the generation that liberates the women of Pakistan?
So we should almost not let Sarah talk about Malala.
Well, she doesn't talk much.
Well, I'm
anyway.
saying we don't want to play that card if we're going to have Whitney kind of put that out there at the end. I don't think we want to.
Maybe what you could do.
I agree with Anne on that.
I think we should change what Sarah's question is altogether if we're going to do that.
What I think you could do, and I just think the language barrier is really difficult with Sarah, you know, explaining what she can do, what she should do, or what her part is. I think maybe we can help her out and have her question be, Sarah, who would you consider to be influential women in Pakistan's history? And then go ahead and give her the last
Paragraph.
Your last.
Or part of it.
Your last little bit. We'll just kind of help her out with that. I got a call. Hang on a second.
That sounded good to me.
Hello?
What do you think, Anna? And
I'm fine with that. That was what we wanted her to talk about initially anyway. It was probably my bad to use the word today instead of in history, because we're trying to go past, present, future, and that threw it out of order completely. So I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Not sure if that part that I wrote will answer that question for her, but could probably change it around a bit and.
So can I play devil's advocate just briefly? And honestly, I frankly don't really have a ton of opinion. My concern is that we haven't had Anna come to any meetings, and I get that. I get the time difference.
I'm here.
Sorry, not
Sarah.
Anna. Sarah. I was looking at the screen, and your name was right there. We haven't had Sarah come to any meetings. She's not been really contributing much at all, and now we're talking about really having just written her paragraph for her.
Right.
Does that mean, I think that there's a difference, like, so Norm kind of helped Jana Lee out there, but she still is going to get in there and probably change some things. You've been at the meetings, you're contributing. So I
What if
feel
we
like
move Sarah's part towards the end instead, and she could still talk about Malala, like we were thinking about maybe Whitney doing that, about talking about the future,
Mhm.
and kind of tie those two things together, instead of putting it here at the beginning, because then
Okay.
she still gets to answer the question that we had originally given her. She
Right.
still gets to talk about Malala. We just need her to dive into it a little deeper, and then we can have Whitney add on to that. Like, I really think that, Malala is the future of women's rights in Pakistan, for
Mhm.
example, or stand on education, yada, yada, yada.
Right. I mean, if you guys are like, let's just get it done, I totally get that. But I just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, I agree. You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
I do kind of just want to get it done, but at the same
No,
time,
that's
we should
why
do it the right way.
if everybody says we don't care, we just want to get it done, I am completely on board with that. I just
No, I
thought
care.
somebody,
We
throw it
need
out, say
we
it
need to
was.
we need to give her a chance to have the question. Um, I apologize for not contributing to coming up with questions. But like Anna said, reword it and put it in a place that falls along with what we're talking about. Like, did you say at the end?
Yeah, right before Whitney.
So we're tweaking it a little bit, and
Oh, I'm not very good at typing.
hopefully she can go with that. What do you think about the new location of her question and the new question? Um, I'm sorry, for some reason,
Oh, I'm changing it as we're going through.
Charlie, what do you think about that?
No, I think that's a nice fit. I like that quite a bit, actually.
Okay. There's no way I can come up. I'm not a writer, and um, I absolutely love these paragraphs that Norm wrote.
Yeah, no, Jana Lee, I was not at all like trying to be critical, and for
Oh
sure,
no
if
no
you,
no no!
I
I
think it's
know.
great.
I'm kind of thinking I'd like to come up with my own paragraph, and even if we use this paragraph because it sounds so good, I'm gonna come up with my own anyway, just because I think I need the exercise.
Okay. I mean, I think the difference as well is that you've been at the meetings, we're discussing this, and so that's, I guess, kind of where I felt like
Oh, I totally
she
understand.
needs to have some part because she's not able to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that was not at all a slight on
Oh
you
no
using
no!
this
I didn't.
information.
I didn't think it was.
Okay.
I'm exhausted, so
I think we all are. Poor Anna is going to have a late night, I think.
Hey, she's sleeping now. Just breastfed on cam. That was a little weird. She wouldn't take the bottle.
I
Oh,
didn't notice.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
tried to be discreet.
Hey, my wife breastfed our 4 kids, so
Good.
okay.
All right.
I kind of missed the last part you guys were talking about, but
We decided that we're going to keep Sarah with her same question, and similar. We might reword it a little bit, um, and she can still talk about Malala and how she's influential today. But we're going to put it towards the end instead of right at the beginning. And then I'll figure out another way to lead into your question from what I started with. I'm going to chop a bunch of that out and try to get to that question a little faster.
Norm, the idea with that was that feeling like Sarah is not able to attend these meetings because of the time difference, but if we're then writing her paragraph for her, then what part has she had in this project? So we need to give her the opportunity to contribute, even if it means we're a little bit delayed in getting this finished. Like, I think we probably wanted to have it more polished tonight, but we need to let her have the opportunity.
okay, I think we can make sure that our parts are within time frame and flow well, and so we can do that. So your idea is that we kind of do this same thing as far as polishing it up on that Saturday when she's with us, and then determine how we're going to all record our parts?
Oh no, I think that we should be able to
I think we should record it that day, all together, all at once.
Yeah. She will hopefully have this to us in the next day or so. You know, if that doesn't happen, then we have to, you know, go from there and reword it ourselves if we need to. But I think we need to give the opportunity for her to get a paragraph in here. But the plan is to record on that Saturday.
Okay.
I really love the replacing, Anna, of Sarah's question, because it links my section with Whitney's beautifully. Well, do we need to let Whitney know about focusing more on the future?
Yes.
Who's gonna do that? Me? I don't want to do that.
I can go ahead and let her know.
I don't like to possibly word things that might.
Yeah.
I need to be more brave and be willing to ruffle feathers, I suppose, but I'm not good at that.
I don't think you need to ruffle them. I think you
I
can
know,
be completely diplomatic, and you know, we're all working together on this project, and we all have our own ideas about how it should go, and majority rules. Change your stuff.
Okay. Sorry
Not in that kind of way.
I'm using my phone tonight, and for some reason my camera's not working. I don't know how to get it to work.
It's all right. Your picture's lovely.
It's 6 years old.
Still a nice picture.
Yeah, I will go ahead and shoot Whitney a quick email and just say, hey, you know, this is, if you'll go back and look at the doc, this is, you know, what we've done. If you could focus a little more on the future, for example, like a 10, 20 years out type of thing, and maybe, and then just kind of give a suggestion like, you know, for instance.
I have an idea. Because Sarah's going to be talking about Malala, we could say, ask her to say, what do you think this influential woman of today's, I can't use the same word, influence, what do you think her influence will be on the future? How do you think that's going to change things? If she's answering that question.
That's a good one.
I just Googled what is the future of women's rights in Pakistan.
You got a bunch of other people's projects.
No, there's a article here called "A Landmark Women's Rights Bill Could Decide Pakistan's Future."
Yeah.
So I'm sure she could, you know, find two or three snippets, or, you know, kind of look at the summary of the article or whatever. I mean, like the last paragraph says, with the government regularly reiterating its goal of curbing ideological extremism, the next few days are going to be the ultimate test of its resolve. If it can overcome the Islamist challenge and stand firm in its support of women's rights, the law could herald a defining change for Pakistan as the country gradually unshackles itself from its violent past. Any compromise on protecting women from violence or religious equality will throw Pakistan right back into the quagmire. I mean, you can just take something like that and kind of put it in your own words.
Yep.
I'll copy this link and put it by her thing.
That doesn't tie into the Malala part of it, trying to have Sarah included.
That's true. Well,
Well, if Sarah leads, if Sarah were to take the, you know, be able to watch the Malala Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech and kind of get the gist of that this is what the younger generation is seeking and striving for their future, and Malala is the face. Malala could be the face of women in Pakistan in the future. Then Whitney can lead into how the legislature or whatever is really trying to overcome the
wouldn't that be considered current though?
Yeah, I think take a little bit of editing and, moving things around to get in the right place, but I think it could.
What about that?
I think if Sarah wasn't doing her section, I like Norm's idea, but with Sarah's little section about Malala, I like the idea of Whitney putting a twist on the future that includes Malala's influence.
And that, I think, could be with the, like what I discussed earlier, of the education that's the lack of right now, where there's such high illiteracy, kids not going to school past 5th grade, girls often not being able to go to school. That's going to have a huge impact on the future of women in Pakistan. So I mean, there's several different directions that this can go. We just have to get it nailed down to where it all fits.
Yeah, and it doesn't need a lot of information. It really just needs some concise summarizing answers. Yeah.
But it needs to be one question, so we have to narrow. I feel like we have multiple directions we're trying to go with this right now.
Maybe we need to change Whitney's question. Oh, I can see why Whitney did what she did, because...
Oh, I already changed it.
Oh, okay.
I was just playing around with wording and reading it back to myself and seeing how it sounded and if it would be answered by what we're talking about, but
okay.
It's not set in stone. Yeah, I just changed it completely.
Oh, I see, yeah, because I copied and pasted what you had earlier.
It's totally different.
Yeah, it is totally different. But so your question makes her paragraph, she just need a little additional information about Malala? Is that what you're...
I'm banking on the fact that Sarah's going to talk about Malala's how she's influential. And then perhaps Whitney can talk about how that influence will carry into the future.
Okay.
As Malala is literally the voice of her generation for women.
What do you want? Do you have a link for that speech that maybe you can?
Oh yeah, I'll find one. Yeah. Let me make sure. Yeah, this.
So if we each, the four of us and Whitney, make our sections 5 minutes, then whatever Sarah does will work, because it'll, as long as it's under a minute.
A full minute, yep. Mm-hmm.
So we need to know how long it takes Anna to read all her questions, and then subtract that from 5 minutes and divide that by 5.
I kind of think if everybody, including Anna, gets their part down to the 45 to 50 seconds, then the questions should be fine. So maybe we should really shoot for 45 seconds for each person's answer.
Okay.
I think my whole first part needs to be completely changed. because I'm like reading through it and then reading Norman where you're going right after it, and I cannot make that leap without a lot of chatting. So I think in order to have your question and answer make sense for what we're trying to talk about, I need to change the beginning completely.
Sorry.
Oh, it's not your fault. It's not. It's just it doesn't flow the way that we had originally talked about, which is, I think we kind of expected that this was going to change and evolve as we did our research and figured out how we wanted to address the situation and address the topic.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it would be easier for you to tie into Charlie's part about Sharia law?
And then talk about how men view women.
Yeah, because
and it's oppressive.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I could do that. That does make more
sense. That might be easier than trying to tie into mine, just switching ours around.
Yep, I see
because
that totally.
You could kind of just in one sentence tie the evolution of the history, Muhammad and that, into how some of the teachings of Muhammad or the interpretations of the teachings of Muhammad have evolved into Sharia law.
Mm-hmm.
So, Charlie, how does Sharia law affect women's rights? Something like that.
And then, because she's talking about it being basically oppressive, that leads right into your part. Yep.
Right. That's a
totally
good
works. Yep.
And what is being done to improve it?
All right, I'm maxed out on my good ideas for the night.
Hey, I just turned into a pumpkin, so I don't know.
Yeah, plus I gotta go home, so.
The spirit doesn't work on me after midnight. I'm just kidding.
All right, before I go, let's kind of nail down, if you guys want to stay and talk, I'm fine with that. But let's kind of nail down timeline, what we're shooting for. Don't we have to turn in a script?
The 25th. The script is due on the 25th, so we have next Tuesday evening between now and then.
But we're really not going to have Sarah between now and the 25th. So if you can work to try to get her in there.
Are we going to have her on Saturday the
25th?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully between now and next Tuesday, we can have her get a little bit more.
As long as we can finalize our script completely next Tuesday, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to record it the Saturday after.
Okay.
It gives us a full week to finalize our script.
Yeah.
And if
we
Sarah
each have a half an
with,
hour to work on it sometime between now and then,
Yeah. If Sarah only comes up with a couple more sentences or something,
that's fine.
That's fine. We're definitely not hurting for material.
We're definitely barfing out material.
Do you guys have any suggestions on how to record what we do on the 25th? How to record it, on what application?
I just think with internet connections, I know her voice, when I hear it, is sometimes it's choppy.
Oh, it never is for me.
No.
It's not
sometimes you're choppy, Norman, to me.
Right.
Right. I wonder. Oh no, that wouldn't work.
So, Jana Lee, does your husband know about recording stuff and editing it?
What if we did? Sorry, I'm totally interrupting. Go ahead.
there would be a learning curve for him. He's good at it. He's good at figuring it out, but he currently does not know how to do this particular type of recording. So I'm thinking maybe I should just figure it out.
I wonder.
He's not feeling well, and he's trying to. I probably need to relieve pressure and not put more pressure on him.
I
I
completely
agree. Totally agree. What I was thinking is if we did no cameras, just on a call like this, and while we were talking, we got the wiggles out, ready to go, hit record, just read our parts, one after another, stop the recording, listen to it back all together. If we like it, we're good. If we don't like it, we can change it. It's just 5 minutes. We're each talking for about a minute. Like I think we could.
right.
I don't know. I don't want it to sound like it's like as we're talking now, there's like inflection in our voice. We're reacting to each other. It's a conversation. I worry that if we record our answers to the questions, we might have our tone of voice wrong. It might sound just weird, like pre-recorded answers, which is what it would be.
It's not working.
I agree. I think this is a good forum to go ahead and do it.
Sorry, I was talking to my daughter.
That's fine. Hi.
She waved.
Wave back. She's not snoring tonight. I'm just teasing.
Boy. Maybe we could talk her into serenading us on the piano or playing the piano for us. Not likely. Okay. Oh.
So timeline-wise, we should try to. I hate doing it through email because I feel like stuff just gets lost in there.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts or anything, just like pop them on the doc. Like we could start a section down at the bottom, like comments or like a running like chat about it. Or no, there's comments on the side. If you open it up, you can make comments. Or wait, I don't like that. That's junky.
I like your idea of just adding it down at the bottom. I think is a good
one. Just like if you have any thoughts about anything, like
right.
Like Norman says, hey Anna, by the way, this would be better for that, or just make the changes right on the document, and then we can, just like check it maybe every other day. You don't have to devote a whole lot of time to it, but if you just check it to see if like anything new's popped up that applies to you or you want to help with, or you have thoughts on anything, and just spend a couple minutes, and then all of us doing that over the next full week, I think we can get this ironed out and then decide on how it's going to go on Tuesday and like really nail it down so that we can hand it in on the 25th.
Tuesday can really be a dress rehearsal.
It could.
We can practice with, hey, what does it sound like? We can have somebody read Sarah's part. And then on that Saturday, we're all comfortable with our parts, and we really are going to kind of have to only just introduce her to how to do it.
Right.
But we can practice with the recording it and that sort of thing. Like dress rehearsal for Tuesday, because I think we can. Via this Google Doc, I think that Sarah's going to get her part contributed. I think we'll each kind of go in and clean up our parts, offer suggestions where we need to, and really almost have a final product on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the instructions. They do have it says we suggest using Audacity. If you already know how to record audio on your computer, whatever, use whatever program. Here's a guide to how to use Audacity.
Okay, is that the CDC audio script writing guide?
Oh, no, it's
that's
the next step down, record and edit.
It's on the actual instruction page.
Don't know that we want record and edit. We want the full conversation.
Right. I think with Audacity we could each record our little piece and then send it together, and then you could like copy and paste them all together. Which I don't know that we want to do that.
That's
how are we going to get this recording on Google Hangouts into an MP3 format that we can start and stop? That's what I'm worried. I don't know how to do that.
I know that you can upload if you record it. I know that you can upload it onto YouTube.
Yeah, I know, but then it's a video, and we're supposed to submit an MP3 file, and he's going to have to look at the video.
I think. Hold on, let me check something because I have definitely stripped audio from a video before. Let me just look something up real quick.
All right.
There's a program I used to use. I used to download a lot of movies and burn them onto CDs because then I could just play them in my really junky DVD player. I didn't have to put them on DVDs, and they were just a little too big. There's this program that you can use to like chop part of it off, or you can chop off part of the audio, and it makes the file smaller. So I use that. It's not on that laptop. Let's see if it's on this one. I think it's called Virtual Dub. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that.
Virtual data?
Dub, as in like
virtual
dubstep. If you know what dubstep is.
Hey! I love Google. I just put best way to make one recording over the internet of multiple people speaking. There's an article here that says how to record a podcast with people in multiple locations. I guess there's this thing called Hive Logic. It says, over the past few years of podcasting, first with the Hive Logic Radio, I've learned a lot about how to record and produce good quality audio. One of the questions people often ask is how we record the talk show with me here in Orlando and John in Philadelphia.
Yeah?
What's the answer?
All right, so I'm going to say that go for it, Norm.
Figure it out.
Do you want to send us that link and we can look at it too?
All right.
Only one person is going to be able to control it.
I don't know. This is talking about all the microphones and FreeVerse Studio 3 to record the audio. Okay, so FreeVerse Studio 3.
My somewhat techie husband is shaking his head furiously that is not the program to go with.
It looks like you might have to pay for it. As we found early on that recording the output from Skype or iChat was less than reliable even when using great software like Rogue Mesa Audio Hijack Pro. Initially, I tried using the recorded Skype channels, and I tried recording my own audio, pulling Gruber's audio from Audio Hijack, and mixing them back together. Actually, tried more variations, blah, blah, blah.
I would say that we probably don't need to have, like, studio quality audio.
Right.
I think our best attempt would be fine. We shouldn't go too crazy trying to, you know, we're not, like, collaborating on a new album.
I agree with Anna. We're not going for professional.
Oh, how to record a podcast with Audacity, 7 steps. Let's see if it talks about multiple people. Because Audacity is one of the ones that they suggested. Blah, 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 blah. Start, blah, blah, blah. Start recording.
There is a possibility that I will be able to, through GarageBand and a Google Hangout session like this, with we have these fancy microphones. that hooked to the computer for you to speak in if you had a radio station. And if I held my phone next to this microphone and you spoke your part, is anyone willing to meet with me and let's do a practice run and see if the voice quality is good and I can record right on GarageBand?
I almost wish I still worked for the company I worked for because we had really good, what do you call it when everybody's on the phone at the same time?
Conference call.
Conference call software that you could just really easily record and download if you wanted. It worked really good because we could do something like that instead of doing it on here, where bandwidth could be an issue if we all did it on the phone, like you were saying, and then you record off your phone.
Let's consider Sarah in Ghana and phone charges.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can learn how to use Audacity. I have a PC laptop that I use. I'll look into that as well. And
I'm not seeing anything in this like 7 how-to. It's a WikiHow article about recording a podcast. It doesn't say anything about multiple people, multiple locations. It looks like it's going to have to come out of your microphone. That's what's going to be recorded. So what you're saying, if you have like really good speakers and a really good microphone to record what is coming out of the speakers, like maybe on 2 different computers, it's kind of a jerry-rigged way of doing it, but...
So who does impersonations in this group?
I sound more like a man late at night, you know, I can write that part later. I don't know if I could get the Ghana accent, though.
Right.
That'd be rough.
We'll just have one person do strange voices for all the different parts. You know?
We should call Jim Dale. Have any of you guys heard him narrate or read the Harry Potter series? He's fantastic.
Oh, really? Oh, man. So I think what we're facing with this hiccup is that we want the whole conversation and not sections, right? So other groups are recording this and piecing it together, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
So that's the hiccup right now?
Yep.
My understanding.
Yeah, what if, here's a weird idea, what if we each get that Audacity program? What if we're all together on our thing? What if we each record our little part while we're saying it? So, like, I'll say, here, I'm going to switch back over to it. I'm looking at too many different things. So I'll say, you know, I'm going to hit record. Charlie, we've all heard of Sharia law in one context or another. What does Sharia require of women? I'm going to change that because it doesn't really flow with the question or your answer. But I would say that, then hit stop, and then you hit record and you answer. So it's like we're doing it all together, and then we would have to then go through and copy and paste all the pieces together, which I don't envy the person that would have to do that, but then we kind of get it both ways.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good plan if we are not able to come up with something to be able to do. But I think that's a good plan B, hoping we find a plan A, right?
Yes.
Norman looks very serious right
Yeah, I'm just browsing through here.
I'm trying to figure out GarageBand. This computer is new to me, and if I had it all working, I think I could have recorded our conversation and played it for you to see what it sounded like, but I don't have a microphone plugged in, so. wasn't able to do that on the spot for you. Has anyone used Audacity before?
My dad. That doesn't help us much.
Does it come with PCs?
No.
You
It's a free download, though.
Okay. My PC's having issues. Is someone willing to?
Okay, so I'm like the technical idiot in the group, okay? So, but what if, I mean, is there a version, for example, I can hear all of you very clearly here on my phone. And so if we are doing this with Google Hangout and my phone is literally sitting right here on my laptop, if I am recording on my laptop, so because it's hearing the talking, right? And so if my phone's right here and it's hearing you guys talk and me talk, would that work?
Let me
Well,
try.
let's have a recorder. Try it. See what happens when we talk.
I mean,
that's what I was saying.
I don't have Audacity right now, so I can't do it right now.
That's what I was suggesting earlier.
I found something called it's recording right now, so I just want to see what the quality sounds like, or whether it just records me, or it records you guys. So, Jana Lee, why don't you say a couple sentences?
Okay. How are you doing, Norman? Where'd you go on your mission?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it and play it to see what it sounds like.
Like waiting for something amazing to happen.
I love my
voice.
Headphones
on. We can't hear it.
It's fascinating.
I think it's playing, but I can't.
I can't hear it at all.
So, are we wanting to do this on Tuesday? So I kind of need to have this figured out by Tuesday, or can we practice on Tuesday?
We can practice, but we definitely need to have it ready to go for Saturday.
The idea would be being able to do a dress rehearsal on Tuesday.
Okay.
So we can say, hey, okay, this sounds good.
It sounds terrible playing back to me, by the way.
I found something called Bokaroo, and it's recording right now, so I just want to see what the quality sounds like, or whether it just records me, or it records... Yeah. Sounds like
you are coming through like loud and clear, and then the rest of us is like beep, bop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
like garbage. Worth a try, though.
Well, is that going to have to do with the fact that Norm said I sound choppy and we sometimes think he sounds choppy? Like if one of the other of us is recording it? Because you guys are pretty clear to me. I don't know.
You know what we could do, and I know that we want it to sound natural and as if we're all in the same room and instead of recording separately, but is there a way to send a recording of our part to the person putting this together, and then that person can play it on the program with their coming from their phone, or download it into the program? I don't know how to do this.
I think your idea is what Annie and I both had said, of that, where you know, she hit stop, we hit play. Yeah.
For example, if someone has an iPhone, they can go to the voice memos section and record their part and email it or text it. Well, email it. Does that make sense?
I don't have iPhone, so it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't either.
Okay. Do you have an app?
Bobby?
I wonder if there's an app where we can record our parts and email it
You can take out the video.
to the person putting it together.
Oh, hey guys. My
Yeah.
husband found a program called Movavi, Movavi. He said it's free. It will capture Google Hangout video and chat, or like the video and audio. And he said you can edit it to take things out, so we would be able to take out the video.
Yeah, that's kind of what Virtual Dub does, but it doesn't necessarily record, so we'd have to record it in one way, and then you could take the audio out, replace it with something else, take the video out, replace it with something else. Frame by frame if you wanted, even. Like if somebody sneezes in the middle of it, then you could cut that piece out.
Okay, so it's super late. Poor Anna and her little baby there, and I'm exhausted. So I'm going to go ahead and look into this program. I'm going to have my husband look into this program.
Thanks, Abby. Oh, she's gone. All right, well, talk to you guys next time.
Oh, wow. That was a goodbye.
Yeah, I think she's in the middle of saying something, but it's the wrong thing.
Oh, okay.
It was abrupt.
Well, if I come up with anything, I will email you guys and let you know what I've learned.
All right, sounds good. I think if anybody does, we can all do the same.
Okay, good night.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Oh,
bye.
she's
good night,
back.
Charlie. Good night, Charlie.
Bye.
Good night, John Boy.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and email you guys what we find out about that program.
Okay.
I'm downloading
Okay.
it right now, so I'll play with it.
Okay. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right.